actually studied computer science because, I think influenced by my dad, and, my philosophy was to study something I was already good at and see where that took me. And that was computers, which when I studied it are not computers as we have them today. But, it's funny. I had this classic interaction with a maths lecturer, and he pulled me aside and he said, "Pat, like, don't get me wrong, you're a great guy, but I don't see you sitting behind a desk doing maths for your career." So that disrupted my thinking completely. I went into the thought process of what could I do that is really mentally demanding and also physically demanding. And the formula I came up with was, that's an army officer. And so I went to kind of the West Point Sandhurst kind of version in Australia, and became an army officer, went into special forces, jumped out of planes for 10 years and did exactly what I wanted to do. And I would do it every single time. I learned so much about leadership, teamwork. Like, I was leading a team of 30 people on combat operations when I was 22. And so, I feel like I grew up a lot, and I would absolutely start my career that every time again, as long as I got the same experience. Obviously blessed to get through that part of my career in one piece, and serve with some incredible people. But that was a massive foundation. I think you're right, Brett. Consulting for me was a bridge of, at the time, I remember thinking, what an amazing opportunity. Instead of just going into one organization and learning that, I'm going to get to go into all of these different organizations, and I'm going to get to see what their challenges are, what their opportunities are, and I'm going to get to fix it. And then I'm going to get to move on to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. But at some point on that journey, I remember thinking, I just walk away from these opportunities and challenges. I want some skin in the game. Like, I actually want to be responsible for delivering some of these outcomes and recommendations that are on, slide 320. And so, consulting for me was exposure and learning and variety, which was important, and the opportunity to kind of see inside, tens and hundreds of different organizations before then going, you know what, I just want to go in one now, and I want to be responsible. I want to help build one organization to achieve its potential. When I was growing up, I wasn't even sure I was going to get a job outside of my town, because the headspace was not that. The headspace was not, you are going to travel the world and da-da-da-da. That was not my headspace. My headspace was, I wonder which career and which part of this town I'll work in. It was curiosity. Like, for me, the military part of that as well was like travel the world and learn about other cultures. And yes, it's in the context of defense, but that's where I got the bug. And then after that, I actually sought careers and jobs that would take me internationally to learn. And, Hong Kong I was just fascinated, and still am, with Asia. You said, Brett, you have to seek it or it's not going to happen. Seeking that exposure. And I think it gives you, a better perspective of when events are happening around the world. You've got some experience to draw on to make your own assessment about what's going on. There's just no substitute for travel. There is just no substitute for being in market and living that culture, eating the food, talking to the people, going to weddings, whatever it is, parties, celebrating, and just getting a broader perspective of the world that we live in. You need to build a bigger network, which is easy for me to say and really hard to do. It happens over a long period of time, but you need to make those conscious choices of going to meetups. You need to opt into things where you're going to meet new people. You need to, you need to make yourself vulnerable. You need to volunteer a lot. You need to help people out and make those opportunities that you will build your social capital and your network, such that one day someone will say, I know someone who's doing that, this person over here. And, you will get in front of people or get access to people who you might not have otherwise, had you not really focused on building building that capital. I think some of it is just being really focused and being amazing at what it is you do, because as you progressively, more and more people will recognize that.